Come out of my kitchen on January 1st, 2022. We're off into a new year. Well, you'll be seeing this on Sunday or thereafter, but I'm shooting on Saturday, January 1. So I thought for today, let's do, at the risk of being accused of cultural appropriation, let's make a southern dish. I guess I'm from down south, South Brooklyn. It's close enough. Can you really be culturally appropriating by state? You know, what if I'm from New York, but I want to make a New Jersey style pizza? Is that cultural appropriation? I don't think so. I first had this dish many, many years ago when I lived down in Orlando, Florida at a great place called Bee's Diner. Hoppin' John, okay? It's black-eyed peas over rice with collard greens, and it's considered good luck to eat on New Year's Day. I don't know how much stock I put in the luck stuff. You know, I made my lemon pig. This is the New Year's, well, not new, but it's new to me. I discovered it through an Instagram friend. The lemon pig, you make one on New Year's Eve, and it's supposed to bring you good luck. Whatever. Same with this dish. All I know is it's delicious. I love black-eyed peas since the first time I had them when I lived in Florida. I love collard greens. I bought these at the market. I usually have a bunch of collards in the ground and they'll grow right into the winter. In fact, it's been so mild this year, I kind of wish I had a row in because they'd be banging right now. But black-eyed peas, collard greens, maybe we'll even make a little cornbread. Let's see how things go. But let's go over to the board and see what we've got for our Hoppin' John. Okay, I'm going to do what I always do, which is I Googled a whole bunch of different recipes from all around the web, but I'm just going to do my own thing. Here's our black-eyed peas. Now, I should have soaked these overnight last night. I forgot, so I did. If you want to soak beans and you forget to do it overnight, there's a secondary method. You put them in, cover them with water by about an inch, bring them to a hard boil, turn them down, let them simmer just for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then shut it off and leave them in that hot water for about an hour, which is what these have been, and they're already kind of soft. I just love black-eyed peas, man. They almost taste like peanuts in a way. I've also had these in the garden here. They don't do great in this zone. I'm in zone 5, but I managed to get a few out of them one year. But these are obviously purchased at the market. So there's our black-eyed peas soaking. We've got a nice little onion. I peeled it. Celery, garlic, a little piece of slab bacon. Scallions for when we eat it. Here's a little oregano and thyme from the windowsill garden. Most of the recipes that I saw call for dried thyme, but I got it growing. Why not? White rice. Here's a little, believe it or not, supply chain issues. No green bell pepper in the market the day I went. So I got a little cubano, a sweet green pepper. And again, my improv, I have this on the counter. I'm going to add just a little bit of jalapeno for zing. And of course, my homemade Creole blend, nice Cajun style seasoning. And then here's the collards. Washed them real good. And I love collard greens. But again, on the way of improv, I'm going to throw in some spinach, only because I have it, right? Got to use it before it gets wilty. I had that last night. Was New Year's Eve. Made some oyster Rockefellers. I almost fell on the floor when I tasted those. Oh my God. Had no Pernod. I used a little Zambuca. So for the collards, I'm just going to tear them away from the stem, right? No knife required for this. I'm just going to tear them into pieces, right? There's our collards. So I'll get those in a bowl with the spinach. I'll prep up all this stuff, and I'll see you over at the stove. All right, let's start with our greens on the back burner here, because they're going to cook for a good hour as well. I got some olive oil in the pot here. When you cook collards, traditionally, onion. Traditionally, you would add either a smoked ham hock, or some recipes use a smoked turkey wing. So I don't have anything for that real smoky flavor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to nab, this bacon is for the for the black-eyed peas, but I'm just going to add a few pieces just to get a little bit of that sort of smoky kind of bacony flavor in there. Just 2 little knobs, okay? This wasn't over on the board, but it sits on my stove ubiquitously. Little crushed red pepper, okay? Pepperoncini. Even though this is a southern dish, to me it's always pepperoncini. A little bit of garlic, chopped up. Now I'm just going to saute this a little bit until they soften up. Smells great. Ooh, just with that little bit of bacon wafting over. All right, we're getting nice and soft here. We don't want to burn our garlic. I'm going to add again for a little bit of extra flavor. Normally you would have chicken stock here or some sort of a stock, but I'm going to add the water from the beans. It's got that nice flavor in it. And then I'm going to add some water. And now in go our collards. Of course with the spinach, right? Spinach adds a nice little sweetness to it for my taste. Love that mix. The earthy collard greens, a little sweetness from the spinach. Let's get our tongs here. Mix everything around. Plenty of liquid, which will evaporate. And if you go back to episode 009, Chopping Broccoli, this is a similar type of thing. These collards, they're much tougher. They won't break apart and almost disintegrate like the broccoli, but the idea is the long cooking time will change their flavor. A little pinch of salt. Okay, now what I'm going to do, crack some pepper. I'm going to lower my heat. I'm going to pop a cover on this. Let those steam away nice and slow, nice and low for a good hour or so. All right, let's get our beans going. Okay, for the black-eyed peas, I got a low heat going. I'm going to put my bacon in because I want to render that off first. All right, bacon's browning off nice. Let out a bunch of its fat. Here we go with our onion, celery, and green pepper. In Cajun world, this is called the Holy Trinity. Your gumbo, your jambalaya. Just like sofrito in other cultures. Now, a lot of recipes, again, I render off my bacon, will have you pulling those chunks of bacon out and then maybe adding them back later. I don't see the point. I'm just leaving them in. That smell of the Trinity, man, I'll never get over it. I love that. And it's even twice as intense if you make a roux first, like for your gumbo. Make a nice dark roux. The darker the roux, the sweeter the stew, my boy used to say. All right, we're going to let these soften up, and we almost do want these to begin to brown a little, okay? All right, those are getting nice and soft. I'm going to add in my garlic and that little bit of jalapeno, because I love that flavor. Oh, yeah. Holy Trinity, bacon. I did add a touch of olive oil to the bacon. Garlic, and a little chopped jalapeno. Can't beat it. All right, our garlic and jalapeno have been going about a minute. Let's add those black-eyed peas. Hoppin' John, January 1st, 2022. Hopefully they'll bring me good luck, eh? Now, a little Cajun seasoning. My homemade Creole blend, I love this stuff. Gotta go easy with it. It's got a kick. I'm gonna add maybe, I don't know, a teaspoon to start, and we'll taste as the dish cooks. Okay, let's start with that. I don't want to overdo it. hurt myself. Let's add our thyme and oregano here from the kitchen windowsill. Those are the tops. I got them growing under a lamp, so they get a little leggy, but those fresh green tops, stem and all, nice and tender. Let's pop in a dry bay leaf. Told you in another episode, I like to give those a quick rinse. And now, I'm going to add a few cups of water. Again, stock is fine, chicken stock, vegetable stock. I don't happen to have any in the freezer at the moment. Water is just dandy. Gets the job done. Let's bring this up to a nice hard boil. Let's see what we got here. All right, we got a nice hard boil going. Let's skim a little of this foamy stuff from the top, impurities and whatnot. Get that off. And then we're going to turn down our heat. Pop this cover on. And we're going to set our timer for 1 hour. And we'll take a look at everything. Let's check in on our greens here. Okay, I think I can even lower that. They're at a nice simmer, but I think I can turn those down. They'll get less green. They'll get almost a little grayish tinge to them. But I'm not complaining about that. Let's see where we're at. Take a little piece of collard here. I know there's spinach in there, but I want to taste the collard first. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love this green. Damn. I haven't even added any salt yet. At the end, I'm going to hit it with a few grains of salt and a little vinegar. Unbelievable. So they're cooking nice, so I'm even going to lower that flame a little more. Same with the beans. Slow, slow, slow and low. Setting the timer for 1 hour. Come on back to the board with me. All right. Got my cast iron out. Just going to grease it up a little with this melted butter. New Year's Day, 2022. I am going to attempt to, I don't really do resolutions. But in the beginning of the year, there's usually a week or two where I try to adjust the diet, drop a few pounds. I don't think I'm going full dry January this year. I did last year. But definitely, I try some motivational techniques in the beginning of the year. So I am going to try to chill back on the carbs and whatnot for a couple weeks here. However, that being said, if you have never had black-eyed peas, collard greens, you don't know this fact that they absolutely will be screaming for some cornbread. You going out now? Go ahead. By the way, unseasonably warm weather right now in the Northeast. So there she goes. You're not going out? Okay, do what you want. I can actually leave the door open. I got the oven at 400. The heat's off. Here comes this one, knocking into the tripod. We got chickens trying to come in the house. Come on, you guys, you're in or out? The birds are out. I'm talking to the other two, so I can shut the door. All right, we're back on it. Here we go. Cornbread for our black-eyed peas, for our Hoppin' John. So we got our little cast iron pan. In my opinion, the only way to make cornbread. Now in this bowl, I'm going to add 1 cup yellow cornmeal. This is a 1/2 cup measure. 1 cup. There we go. 1 cup flour. Normally be all-purpose flour. I'm trying to use up this self-rising. I had it for making biscuits. It's basically all-purpose flour with baking soda in it. So what I'm going to do is 1 cup of that. Recipe calls for a little bit of baking powder. Since there's baking soda inside my self-rising flour, I'll cut back a little bit. So on the baking powder, normally you would put, I don't know, 3 teaspoons. I'll put 2. That was an old Justin Wilson gag I used to love. You don't believe that's a teaspoon? Check out Justin Wilson on YouTube if you get a chance. A little bit of salt. Approximately a teaspoon of that. Oh, and by the way, I was over at the stove. I tasted both the collards and the black-eyed peas, and I did add a little bit of salt to them, okay? Gonna add a little bit of sugar. This is the turbinado, the raw sugar. 2/3 of a cup to my 1 cup. You want your cornbread to have a little bit of sweetness, but I'm going to cut back a little on the sugar. Again, it's that beginning of the year thing. So maybe 1/3 of a cup. Again, you can see I'm using my eyeballs, but this is, you know, after you do these things, you start being able to see amounts in your head. So a little bit of sugar there. All right. Get the old Danish whisk out. You know I love this tool. And now, I'm going to add our wet to this. Let's get this mixed up. So now I'm going to add my melted butter. And let's get the brush. We want to get all of that butter in there. It's January 1st, folks. New Year's Day. Still kind of celebrating. We'll get on the health kick starting Monday. Remember, this is going to be good luck anyway. I've got a cup of milk here. And 1 nice big egg. And you know where they came from. This was laid, I think, yesterday. That's it. Now, you just want, it's kind of like making biscuits. This is not a bread dough that we're going to need. We just want to bring it together. Break up my egg. You don't want to overwork this stuff. Just get everything mixed together. Nice and wet. Now, you won't see this in a bunch of recipes. You might see it in some. But what I like to throw in my cornbread, a little pickled jalapeno, and I still have a few pickled bananas left. Banana peppers, that is. So let's start with the jalapeno. I'll just break little chunks, little pieces, flecks, right? I mean, I could chop this on a board, but just do it like so. Pickled jalapeno. These pickled banana peppers, these are like gold. Get a few of those in there. Here we go. That's enough. Just a few little flecks. Move them around. Let's break this guy up a little more. There we go. Okay. Let's get this in our greased off cast iron. Okay. There's still even a few lumps in there. We just got everything mixed together nice. Let me grab my spatula, because this dough is priceless. Jalapeno, banana pepper, cornbread. And again, I'll repeat, the only way to do it is in a skillet like this. Little raw egg, but I take chances. Called it on the sugar. Perfect. Little sweetness. Now, I'm going to pop this in my oven, which is cranked up to 400. And let's see what my timer says on the hour. We want to do the cornbread for 20 to 25. All right. I got 6.5 minutes left on the other stuff. So I'm going to cancel this, go to 25. I'll go to 20 and then we'll look at it. And pop this in. All right, we'll take a look at that in 20 minutes, see what it looks like. Start with our rice. Flame was off and then I let it sit a good 5-10. It's nice and fluffy. Oh, it's beautiful. So let's start with a little. Now remember we have the cornbread, so I'm not going to go carb crazy with the rice. I'm just going to put a little here. Some of these beautiful collard greens. With the spinach, remember? And our Hoppin' John, black-eyed peas, Holy Trinity. Now look at all that. That's what you call pot liquor. And the greens have some nice pot liquor too. Let's get some of that on our rice. All right, let's bring this over to the board. Let's get a little scallion on top. Get ourselves a little sliver of this jalapeno, pickled banana pepper, cornbread, skillet cooked. Pop a little of that right on top of our rice. Oh man, I think this calls for a little Texas Pete. Just a few. Let's see what we got here. I got to go right for the rice with the black-eyed peas. Oh, collards. I don't know if this is actually going to bring me good luck. But I don't care. Let's Babes, let's dig in on a little of this cornbread. It's light, flaky. Again, I eyeballed that sugar, but I got it just about right. Got a little kick of sweet without being like a cake. Wow. Hoppin' John. Black-eyed peas, cornbread, collard greens. I may not be a southern boy. Oh man. All right, I'm gonna go sit and dig on the rest of this. This is too good, man. I was gonna say Happy New Year. Are we happy? Is it happy? It's a new year. It's a different year. Here's to 2022. Thanks for coming to my kitchen. We'll see you for the next episode.